Frank thought love was enough the second time around. At 68, 3 years after losing his first wife to cancer, he met Carol at the community center. She was 61, widowed herself with 2 grown children. Frank had 3 children from his first marriage. Everyone seemed happy when Frank and Carol married. A beautiful September wedding. 2 families coming together. Your kids, my kids, our kids. Carol would joke, but Frank never updated his estate plan. His will from 1998 left everything to my children. Simple and clear back then. Now it was anything but simple. Frank owned a successful plumbing business worth $350,000, a house worth $220,000, and $80,000 in retirement accounts. Total estate, $650,000. Carol had moved into Frank's house after the wedding, sold her own smaller home, used that money to help with Frank's business expenses and home improvements. She felt secure. Frank often said, "What's mine is yours, honey." Carol assumed that meant legally too. For 5 happy years, both families got along well. Holidays together. Grandchildren playing in the same backyard. Frank's kids, Michael, Sarah, and David, welcomed Carol. Carol's kids, Jennifer and Mark, appreciated Frank's kindness. Then Frank had his accident. A ladder fell at a job site. Frank was in a coma for 2 weeks before he passed. There was no time to update anything. No final conversations about money. No chance to clarify his intentions. At the funeral, both families grieved together. Carol sat with Frank's children in the front row. They hugged, they cried, they shared memories. The ugliness started 3 weeks later, when the lawyer read Frank's will. "I leave my entire estate to my children, Michael, Sarah, and David, in equal parts." The room went silent. Carol's face went white. "White. But I'm his wife," she whispered. "Where does that leave me?" The lawyer explained spousal rights in their state. Carol was entitled to 1/3 of the estate as the surviving spouse, about $217,000. But that meant Frank's house, her home, for 5 years, would need to be sold. The business would have to be liquidated, everything divided between 4 people instead of 3. Michael spoke first. "Dad wrote that will before he met you, Carol. He meant for us to have the business. We've been working there since high school." Sarah added, "You have your own kids to inherit from. Dad's money should stay with Dad's family." Carol felt betrayed. "I gave up my house for Frank. I invested my savings in his business. I took care of him when he was sick. This was supposed to be our home together." David tried to be diplomatic. "Maybe we can work something out. You can stay in the house for a while." But Jennifer, Carol's daughter, was furious. "A while? That's my mother's home now. She's been married to your father for 5 years. She has rights." Mark, Carol's son, hired a lawyer. Frank's children hired their own lawyer. What started as a family funeral became a family war. The legal battle lasted 14 months. Carol fought for her spousal share. Frank's children fought to preserve their inheritance. The lawyers were the only winners. $47,000 in legal fees from Carol's portion. $51,000 in legal fees from the children's portion. Nearly $100,000 eaten up by attorneys. In the end, the court ordered everything sold. The house Carol considered home. The house Carol considered home. The business Frank's sons had worked in for decades, all liquidated to divide the cash. Carol received $170,000 after legal fees. Frank's children split $380,000 between them. But the real cost wasn't financial. Michael and Sarah refused to speak to Carol after the settlement. David tried to maintain a relationship, but his siblings pressured him to choose sides. Carol's children blamed Frank's family for being greedy. Frank's children blamed Carol for taking money that should have been theirs. The grandchildren lost relationships with half their stepfamily. Christmas dinners that once included 15 people now happen separate. 2 bitter gatherings instead of 1 joyful celebration. Frank never intended to tear apart 2 families. He just thought love would figure it out. But love doesn't override inheritance law. Good intentions don't replace proper planning, and blended families need more than a simple will from the first marriage. If you've remarried later in life, listen carefully. Your old will might not reflect your new reality. Your spouse may have rights you haven't considered. Your children may feel threatened by your new family. Talk to an estate planning attorney about blended family trusts. Consider life insurance to equalize inheritances. Have honest conversations with all your children about your intentions. Put your wishes in writing while you're healthy. Because when families fight over money, everyone loses, even the winners. Plan for both love and law before you die.